Oh my. Wow. Well, all right then. That was a great result with a really bad back golf swing. That was a really good result. I have a 9-iron in my hand. I was shooting at a target that is 150 away. That ball landed about 1 pace away, so call that a 148-yard shot with a 9-iron. Great ball flight, and it landed right on line with the target I was aiming at. There's only one problem. That golf swing is really bad. Hey everybody, my name is Matt Williams, Matt Williams Golf. Appreciate you watching this video. In this video, I'm going to be going over 2 great tips that were shared with me by one of my good friends who's a PGA Teaching Pro. And I'm going to go over 2 really great tips that he gave me to improve my backswing. But first, before we get into that, let's give you a little more context, a little more background. And the other thing I want to say, if you haven't already, make sure smash like if you're really excited about what those 2 tips are to improve our backswing that he gave me. Make sure and smash like on this video, and also if you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe to this channel. Now, actually, one other thing I'll say on subscribe, I'm still in the middle of a little contest, if you will. I'm going to be giving away a brand new box of Titleist AVX golf balls to one of my first 1,000 followers on YouTube. And so we are still in the process of doing that. Some of you might hit Pro V1, some of you might hit Pro V1Xs, some of you might hit other balls from, you know, Mizuno, TaylorMade, Callaway, who knows. But Bridgestone, of course. But I love the AVX, particularly for the winter. For me, it works out as a good ball. So to one of our first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and one of our first 5,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram, I am going to give away to one of our followers a brand new box of Titleist AVX golf balls. So we're still in the middle of that contest, and I'll be doing that giveaway. So make sure and click subscribe. It costs you nothing, and I sure do appreciate it. All right, so let's recap. Why did I say that was a bad swing, even though the result was just absolutely fantastic? I was on the golf course. I would have been over the moon with that shot right there. That would have been really close to the pin. So why was am I so disgusted by it? Well, if you watched one of my previous videos, which I'm going to cite here in just a little bit, there was a series of things that I found upon filming some of my range sessions that I figured out, holy crap, look at these terrible things I'm doing. Isn't it funny? Because I didn't feel, the 3 things I'm going to share with you, I didn't feel myself doing them at all. In fact, my swing felt like it was doing really, really well. If you don't know, I imagine most of you that are watching this video do know, I started the year off 2020 as a 16 handicap. I really hadn't played much golf until the last 2 years. I started 2020 as a 16 handicap, and I got all the way down to an 8.5. That's when I decided, well, you know, I found myself hovering at that 8.5, and I thought, what am I going to do to kind of pierce through that 8.5 plateau that I've hit and start getting down into lower single digits? And of course, the ultimate goal, I'd love to be a scratch golfer at some point. But I decided to start filming some of my range sessions. And as you saw in maybe a previous video, if you watched it, is there were 3 things that I was doing. So let's go over those 3 things real quick. I don't want to belabor the point because I already belabored it in a previous video. But the 3 things were this. First of all, there was this crazy action with my hands right before I even started my backswing, or as I was starting my backswing, and this was the first action with my hands as I was starting my backswing. Well, you can imagine the problems with that, right? The problem is that immediately the club face is open. So how are you going to compensate and get that thing square at impact, right? So immediately the first thing that was happening was the hands were open, and immediately the club face was open. The other thing that was really bad is it was extremely shallow. Really shallow or low in that backswing, which is, I think, in that first swing that I just showed you, what I was trying to do, because that's the habit I'm trying to break, but I tried to go back to that old swing. So it gets right here. Now, in order to get that thing square at impact, and you can imagine how low and how open I am, and I'm not on plane at all, what I would then do is I would kind of come over the top. So there would be this movement at the top, and then to start that downswing, I would lunge with my left shoulder, right? And then I would come through the ball. I think in that very first swing of the video, I think I was able to produce all three of those things. I don't know. It'll be interesting when I watch it back, because right now I'm in the process of trying to break all those habits, right? And if you're a golfer, you know, man, when you're breaking a habit, something that you've done the whole time you've been playing, which for me has only been a few years now, or a couple years now, it's really hard to break an old habit, right? But that's what I was doing. Now, if you watch that previous video, I wanted to get rid of this, right? And I actually think already, just in a couple of weeks and hundreds of balls, maybe it's thousands of balls, I think I've been able to break this already. So that's great. That's a step in the right direction. The other thing is I started working on trying to get on a better swing plane. And I really thought I was getting on a better swing plane. The problem with that is two things. First of all, I still had that lunge at the top end of my backswing, and I was still kind of coming over the top too. And I couldn't figure out why until I put a video camera on it. But then the other great thing was one of our teaching professionals here, his name is Chris Halverson. He was walking by me just last night, was taking a look at my swing, and he offered a little assistance. And it's what I wanted to pass on with you guys. I wanted to document what I'm working on, number one. And number two, share with you guys what Chris was sharing with me, which was 2 incredible drills, which I'll get to later in this video, to help me correct that backswing. But what he determined was, yeah, I was getting on a better swing plane, but number one, in order to do that, I actually was keeping my hands too far outside, right? Way too far, away from my body. So that was number one. But the number two is this right elbow was still staying connected to my body throughout the entire swing. This right elbow wasn't getting up here, it was staying right here. So even though it started on a better backswing, it just wasn't getting away. So I couldn't get that thing, I couldn't get the club down into the slot and produce any lag at all. I couldn't do it. So what I'm going to be working on in this video, I think, is to try and get to a better point, particularly with that right elbow at the top end of that backswing. That's what I really want to work on today. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just take some swings and see if I can start to move in that direction, get in the right direction here. And then after I've done that for a little bit, I'm going to show you the 2 awesome drills that our teaching pro Chris shared with me to help me with this, and hopefully it's going to help a lot of you as well. So I'm going to start off by just taking some swings for a bit here too. Yes, I'm wearing a beanie because it is really cold. It's mid-November, it is very windy, it is very wet, which is why I might be one of the only guys crazy enough to be out here on this driving range. It's quite cold out here right now. But we got work to do, right? Oh, I wanted to say one other thing. Before I swing this. You know, one other thing that Chris noticed, I'm going to try and get in a little bit better alignment with the camera, is he noticed that at address, that while my feet were in line, and pretty well lined up with my target, my shoulders were still too open. They were still way too open here. My right shoulder was too far forward, and I'm kind of exaggerating it now, but my shoulders were too open at address. Now, it's funny because I felt square, but he, after showing me numerous pictures, showed me that I'm not. So another thing that I've been working on at address is to kind of hide that right shoulder a little bit, and it feels pretty funky. But I'm telling you, the pictures, and I don't know what you're seeing right now, but the pictures sure showed me that it actually put me square with the target. And so, yeah, that's something else that I'm doing. So a lot of new things going on right now. All right, let's take some swings. Now that result was okay. That was okay. I'd be willing to bet that when I watch that back, I mean, folks, again, disclaimer, I've said this before, there's a whole lot of things I'm doing wrong. Especially you teaching pros that are watching this, or really, really great golfers, exceptional golfers that might be watching this. I know there's a whole lot of things I'm doing wrong. I'm only focused on that backswing and then kind of the start of that downswing right now. That's all I'm really worried about right now. That one was okay, but I bet if I watch that one back, I didn't make a whole lot of progress with that right elbow. So with that right arm. Now, one thing that and Chris said this was okay to do, is I've started actually kind of looking back and thinking about where I want to come. Meaning I'm kind of taking my eye off the ball. Let's just hit some more. Wow. I'm going to leave that in the video, but that was embarrassing. That was a poopy. Great swing. I don't know if I, again, produced the thing with the right elbow. I am willing to bet that I did not. I think I can already tell by the ball flight result, the contact. I know when I'm not getting there, and right now I'm not getting there. So I'm going to hit just a couple of more, and then I want to get to these drills. I'm really excited to show them to you because I think they're going to be really good for me, although they're not easy. Yeah, not terrible. All right, let's do the drills. Let's talk about some drills. All right, so what is drill number 1? Keep in mind, folks, I didn't come up with these 2 drills. This was shared with me with Chris Halverson, one of our teaching pros here, good friend of mine. And I think it's gonna have a big impact on my swing. And I hope that it'll have an impact on yours as well, especially if you're struggling with the same thing I am. So, what is it? Well, let's get to address here. You're going to see here in just a second what this is. So, I'm going to address the ball, posture, hands, shaft. I'm going to hide that right shoulder a little bit because evidently I've never been square to the target, which was news to me last night. Okay, now I'm set up, ready to start my swing, but instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my shoulder. Rest the club right on my shoulder. I'm going to go back to what I think is a great turn, right? Now I'm going to extend that off my shoulder and get to what I think is a good point to be at the top end of my backswing, right? And then from there, I'm going to hit the ball. This should be interesting. Okay. Well, that was bad. But you know, one of the things that Chris told me is we're not worried about the result. Pretty hard to hit a golf ball consistently from that position, especially as long as I held it and was talking to you. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. You know, it's funny, even though he told me do not be concerned with the result right now. All we're trying to do is teach the body to learn how to get to a better position at the top end of that backswing. So even though he told me not to worry about the result right now, I still worry about the result. All right, here we go. Let's do this again. All right, address, great. Think that I'm ready to hit the golf ball. Again, hide that right shoulder a bit. Make me evidently more square with the target. Up, back, here. Oh boy, it's nerve-wracking. Oh my sweet goodness. I can't believe I hit that. Folks, I didn't just hit it. I hit it great. Well, all right. Well, you've seen 2 different examples of this. Expect either when you're doing this drill, I think. Well, all right then. Let's keep doing it. Again, I could totally duff this next one, hosel it, top it, whatever. That's not the point right now. I'm trying to train my body to get to a better spot at the top end of that backswing. That's what I'm trying to do right now. That's the point of emphasis, and the result is not the point. Okay. Yep. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, that was, in fact, that's what I just said. That was straight off the hosel. That was so bad. You know, you tell yourself not to be concerned with the result. After all, a teaching pro told you not to be concerned with the result when you're doing this drill, and yet I'm oddly concerned with the result. Just trying to train the body to learn to do something different in the golf swing. Hide that right shoulder. Oh my goodness. No, I pulled that just a hair, but hello. All right. Couple, even though I'm not concerned with the result, got to keep saying that. Couple good ones there. All right, here we go. One hosel I think I had in there. Okay. All right, yeah. A little short, really big cut. Pretty close to the heel. Makes sense. Okay. So folks, that's drill number one. What I'm gonna do now for a little bit is I'm gonna sit here and practice this drill over and over and over and over again. And then we'll come to tip number two that Chris gave me here. All right. All right, so the second drill. You can do this at home and you don't even need a golf club. Oh no. Okay, so for the second drill, you don't even need a golf club. So what we're doing on the second drill is we're going to put our left hand, for you righties, reverse everything if you're a lefty. For us righties, and again this came from Chris, not from me, he's a professional, he knows what he's doing. We're going to take our left hand, we're going to put it behind our back. From there, I'm going to get my right hand pretty far back here. So the goal is now to take my left hand without moving my right at all, is to try and bring my left to that. That's all I'm doing. Again, right arm back, without moving that right arm, left hand come to it. And that's the drill I want to do over and over and over again. Okay, so I've had quite a bit of fun with the 8-iron. I really like where this is going. Excuse me, that was a 9-iron. So now what I've decided to do is get out this 6-iron. Oh boy. Well, we'll see. We shall see. We'll see. A little thin, in fact a lot thin, and off the heel. All right, well, probably stood up out of that one. Lord knows what I would have done on that, but after hitting so many 9-iron shots, I was a hair concerned about being a little chunky with this 6-iron for the first swing. Let's see if I can put a better swing on it here. Great distance, little draw, but I certainly pulled that. It'll be interesting to watch that, especially that swing right there. It'll be interesting to watch it back later. I'm really curious what I did to get from this position to pull it, because it seems eerily similar to a mistake I've been making the entire time I've been playing golf. So we'll see. Oh, that's a good ball strike. Not very far though. Interesting. I'm going to do a handful more. Okay, well, been doing this drill for quite a while. I'll tell you one thing, the shoulders and everything get a little tired holding that position there, and that's interesting. But I'm gonna keep working on this for a while, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. A couple of other observations. I'm now up to my 6-iron, and a couple of things. The longer iron I went to, the more kind of inconsistent my results were with this drill, which is interesting. Again, as Chris told us, you know, not to be really concerned with the result right now. I can't help but be a little bit concerned by it, but so a little bit less consistency as I went to my longer irons. The other thing I noticed is just as one way of compensating to try and be square at impact with such a terrible golf swing, when I got to like my 5 and 6 iron, I started moving that way to the front of my stance with my old swing. Started moving it way to the front of my stance. And I noticed that in doing this drill, I could move this just forward to center. So much normal and better golf position even for a 6 or 5 iron, instead of being way up in my stance, almost near where my driver would be. I could move this near center or just forward of center, and was striking it just as well as I was before, I mean, by and large, even though I'm doing this drill. But that was really interesting to me. It's going to be something I monitor, is as my swing improves, can I start the ball in a little bit better starting position here at address. So that's going to be kind of exciting to watch. That was good news for me. I did like that very, very much. Now, what I'm going to do here before we end out this video is I'm going to try some full swings. Now, just to be clear, a swing change takes thousands of swings. It takes weeks, probably even many months for a lot of people. And for me, this is not going to happen overnight. But I've been sitting here practicing for a long time, doing this drill for a long time, both drills actually. And I'm just curious if even just in a little bit of time on the range, if it makes any difference. So I'm going to try some just full swings. By full, I don't mean 100%. They'll probably be still like 60–70% swings, but I'm just curious, and I won't even know till I watch this back later. I'm going to put it in the video either way, if it's making any difference yet. Even though it's been just 2 range sessions, and I'll have many, many more to keep working these drills and practicing, but I just want to see out of curiosity if it's making any difference. So we'll end with that again. Before I let you go after this handful of swings, again, if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe on YouTube, follow on Facebook, follow on Instagram, and make sure and smash that like button on this video. Thanks so much for watching. Let's do some full swings and then I'm going to get out of here.